Hey there. So another day, another tech issue. I gotta say, I know that they can get frustrating, but sometimes I'm like, that's a question I'll have to look into. I love solving mysteries, always have. Read all of the Sherlock Holmes books, all of the Laurie King books about Sherlock Holmes, watched Monk and Law and Order for years. And so I want to figure out why it is I couldn't go live on Facebook this morning, but I'll figure it out. I'm pretty sure it was a setting in my Zoom, and I'm always learning something new. So today I don't have a guest as I usually do on Thursdays, and that's on purpose. A lot of people have asked me to kind of just show up and answer questions, and how can I be of more service to the people that are following what I put out, or following the Rise Above Noise group, or really just starting to question, what is this all about? And before I get to the questions that I have today, I want to give you a general idea of what I'm sensing in the cyberverse right now. I don't know if it's because of where I live. I don't know if it's because it's New England and we are savoring every moment of this summer. I don't know if people in this high, fast-paced, high-energy news is like this kind of world are starting to tune out. But what I'm hearing more and more is either it's a business or an organization that is having a hard time gaining traction. They're creating content and they're posting it everywhere, and they're wondering, why is it that they're not getting the traction they used to? So maybe it's the weather. So let's put the weather aside. And I will say that here's what I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that when the kids go back to school in September, when the weather starts getting cooler and rainier, that if you've been consistent, if you've been showing up everywhere, I want you to be prepared, because in September, it's all going to happen. So use this time now to do what you have to do. I probably said this last week. I've been talking about this a lot. Do what you have to do to be consistent. Show up with consistency. Show up with your authentic self. Show up in your integrity. But in the background, kind of use this, like, let's say use August right now to make sure your systems are all set up. Do you have your contracts all figured out ahead of time? Do you have your flow ready to go? Do you know what your bookkeeping is going to be? Because I am promising you that if you're consistent right now in this quiet time, that comes September, right after the kids go back, we've got the Jewish holidays, we've got all of that fall startup stuff, that energy, that you will feel it. You're going to sit there in September and go, whoa, what happened? Susan told me this was going to happen. So get ready for that. So I want you to all calm down, soak it in. And that's if you're even hearing this, right? Like, this could go out and maybe nobody hears it because, again, it's August. But I'm going to continue to show up every week. I'm going to continue to bring people and contents and services and tools and hints and tips for you so that you can be ready. So before I get into today's questions as well, I wanted to, on that path, I wanted to let you know of a program I'm having, again, in the quiet of August, and I'm hoping you'll show up because it's going to get you ready for the fall flow of business that you're going to be expecting. So on Wednesday, August 21st, at 9:30 in the morning, I've teamed up with Beth Knaus of That's a Spade Copywriting Services. She has, well, I'll tell you, so we're doing a webinar, and it's called Effective Email Marketing. And it's to address a couple, not all of the pain points, that's for another thing that I have, but the pain points we're addressing in that particular webinar will be, how do you create content that sounds like yourself? How do you create emails that serve your clients And how do you do it in a way that serves your work flow, so that it's not taking all of your energy, so that you can show up consistently, but without it taking a whole day to do it. So we're going to create some really great, we've already created them. We're going to offer you hints and tips and hacks and things that are going to like blow your mind away. You're going to be like, it can't possibly be that easy, you guys, but I'm going to tell you that it is. If you follow a formula and you know what you're doing and you think about it, you do your deep work at one time and you set yourself up, it's going to feel like flow, and it's going to feel easy, and you're going to be showing up in your integrity. Beth Knaus of That's a Spade Copywriting has this knack of, I would say, boiling down messaging. When you have a tendency to go on and on and on, and then it kind of sounds dry, and and you're like, all right, I've checked out. She has a way to take some of that, and she has tools that she uses to make it a little more interesting. Like maybe if you just use thesaurus and look up this word or that word, it'll just spark somebody's interest. So mark your calendar. Effective email marketing webinar is August 21st. I'll put it up in the notes on this this thing that I'm doing here, whatever you want to call this. I'm going to put it up in the show notes for this. I'm going to tell you that August 7th, next Tuesday, is the deadline to receive the early bird pricing is $59. So I'm telling you, we're going to save you. If you follow the formulas we're going to be offering, we're going to save you hours and hours and hours of tech issues, and also of just sitting there looking at a blank sheet and then going over to Facebook and getting distracted again. We're just going to tell you, get in, do what you need to do, have a system, and then get out. So that's enough of that commercial. If you have any questions on that, call me or talk to Beth. If you're local to this area, I wanted to just give a quick shout out to an organization that I'm working with. It's the national organization is called She's Local, and as you guys know, I'm all about connecting people. If you are in South Shore or South Massachusetts, so kind of like south of 128, check out sheslocal.org. Take a look at the South Shore Conference for Women. They have exhibitor spaces still open. As we're talking right now, I believe they have 9 exhibitor spots still open for really great exposure. I could go on and on about it, but basically it's like the Massachusetts Conference for Women, but on a super local level. So they're taking it local because that's how you know you make connections, right? It's the know, like, trust. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead over and answer a couple of the questions that I got today. Let me take a look and find them first. Oh, so this is one of my favorites, of course. The question is, how to engage energetically through email marketing. She feels like she's falling flat, or she just has no idea how people are responding, even if they stay subscribed. Now, I don't think she's on the call right now, so I would have questions, right? So I'll just kind of go through this, not knowing how it goes. So basically, she's telling us that she tries to send 1 email a week, and she says it often feels like it's a forced effort, and it's unfulfilling because people don't respond. And even if she's not asking for a reply necessarily, she's wondering how does she know if she's making any impact, and should she keep going with it? Now, I'm not going to mention who she is here, only because she's not on the call and I don't know about her privacy desires. So I'll kind of just go forward with this. I know this woman well. She has so much to offer. And it's interesting because she came to me with this question, but you know what? Like, I look at what she puts out there and I'm like, oh, she's really got it together. I find that happens a lot, that the people that we think, oh, they have it really together, and then they're like, I need a little help. And we all need help sometimes. If I were working with her, I would say, I would take a look at, I don't know what her click-through rates are. I would look at that. I don't know what her open rates are, and I'm not sure exactly how she's integrating this with her social media. Or I know that she shows up on social media regularly and live, and she's very magnetic. She's very attractive, and she's doing everything from that end. I would say that in general, email marketing, well, it's a little bit easier to measure, I would say, than social media. So what are your click-through rates, and what are people clicking on? And take a look at that. Go through your past emails, say the past, I don't know, 3 months, then compare it to the same 3 months from last year. Take a look, see what people seem to be engaged in. See if you have analytics set up on your website too, you can kind of see what people are responding to, where they're coming from, and what they're responding to on your website. With your emails, this would be a nice time to take a look at exactly the content you're creating and who it's for. So if you're speaking to a general audience, you're going to have one message. If you can drill down into your database, take a real close look at the people that maybe you know them on your database. There's probably some people you don't know. But if you know who they are, or if you see that they're the people that are clicking through regularly, create a segmented list for those people. If they've clicked on, and this has nothing to do with this woman's only business, I want to say it because it's what I'm familiar with. So for instance, with B&M Catering, I will sometimes take a look and see what people have clicked on. If they've clicked on how to host a barbecue outing, a barbecue picnic for your business, for your company outing, I will then take that list, and when I will create a separate newsletter, probably 2 to 3 times a year, for people I know who have looked at content that I've created that's been for business outings. So those are the people, who are the administrators who are creating the parties, and they're thinking, oh, maybe B&M has some ideas for me, and they've gone through and looked, and now I'm going to just give them more and more of the content that I already know that they like. In this particular case, it would be the same thing. I know that she doesn't need hundreds and hundreds of people. I know that she has a very specific audience that she's going to work with. There's 2 things that she needs to do. She needs to identify, well, before she identifies, what she needs to do is keep giving them hints and tips and making them know that the struggles that they're having right now are not forever, that there's a way out of their struggles, and that taking little steps that she'll provide are going to help. Are they actionable? And again, creating some way to be able to measure that on your email. So instead of saying, exactly, here's my whole tip, you could say, I recently was thinking about this particular struggle, and I came up with a few ideas, such as, and then you put 1 or 2, and then you put the read more link to bring them over to your website where you've put all of the information. And that's so measurable. And then when they're over at your website, make sure that that blog or whatever page that you've created has a call to action. At the bottom is one thing that I want you to do. And the other thing I want you to do is within that blog, make sure that you're linking through to other blogs or other pages on your site, so that somebody's not just reading a blog and then they're like, oh, that was nice, and then they left. Give them other things to do, either a button at the bottom and or links within the content, so that they're getting more and more of you. I know that she probably needs, again, less than 20, like really engaged people, but you have to bring them along on that journey. You have to, each time people are having these pains and little aches and pains, and until it becomes really, really urgent, they're probably not going to make that jump to work with you. In this case, they need to know that it's safe, and know that you've got to agitate their problems a little bit. So I'm hoping that helps, right? So you want to have segmented lists. You want to give your biggest engagers more of what they've asked for. I always talk about the book, The Referral of a Lifetime. Take a look at that book. You can find it on my Learn With Me tab on my website. The Referral of a Lifetime by Tim Templeton. And what I usually suggest is it's a quick, easy read. Go in the book, read it fast the first time. Don't take notes. Don't try to like commit anything to memory. Don't take notes. Don't write in the margins. One time. Then go back, read it again, and take all the notes or write in all the margins or make your to-do list, because it is that powerful. And for this person here, I think this will make a big difference for you, because you need to identify, just those 10 people who at this point they may be closer to ready, but then the other people, you need to bring them on the journey. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to take a look to see if there's any other questions that I can answer in the 5 minutes that remain. This one will take too long. I'm going to save this for another time. All right, so I'm going to finish up by just kind of ending where I started. Be consistent right now, you guys. Show up with in your integrity. I'm going to recommend that within the next, well, it's August 1st today, so can I give you a goal? Can I say that within the next week, I want you to have made a list for yourself, for the next months that are remaining, August, September, October, November, December. 5 months, maybe go into January, make it easy for yourself because December is going to be busy. So make a 6-month plan. And I don't mean a big plan. Make it easy for yourself, you guys. Just write down the months, write down maybe 4 ideas for each month. And then of those ideas, if you want to break them down even more for social media purposes, you can do that. But even just that one thing, writing down the 6 months, writing down 4 ideas, and then maybe some other ideas, that's going to get your brain thinking, I got this. Like, I've got a plan, I've got this, and I'm going to go with it. And so whether it's email marketing or your social media, or making updates to your website, adding blogs to your website, or going in and looking at your search optimization, if that's a thing that you do, looking at your analytics, make a plan for yourself. Write down August, September, write down the 6 months, write down 2 to 4 ideas each month, and then sit with that and let it be your roadmap. When I do the webinar on August 21st, one of the free handouts for that webinar is it's an outline for 10 emails that you can create on a regular basis. And it gives you some basic information on the emails, and then it gives you a roadmap on how to create them so that it feels like flow. And if you had a chunk of a day and you're like, today's the day, you could basically make your outline for the next 6 months. If you do a newsletter a month, or you do the newsletter every other week, you could make it so that it truly feels like flow. You're not scattering your energy. You're super strategic. You're able to measure your results. You guys, take a look at that and make ways that you can measure your results, your click-throughs, your conversions. All right, so there I went. I went off into there. I hope to see you guys at the webinar on August 21st, and I hope to see you next week when I interview for Rise Above the Noise, Heart-Centered Entrepreneurs. And I want to thank you for hanging out with me this morning. You guys have a great week. I'll see you soon.